tuned in to the Community Cats podcast. Ready? Let's go.
Welcome to the Community Cats podcast. I am your host, Stacy LeBaron. I've been involved helping homeless cats for over 30 years with the Merrimack River Feline Rescue Society. The goal of this podcast is to expose you to amazing people who are improving the lives of cats. I hope these interviews will help you learn how you can turn your passion for cats into action. And today, we're speaking with Maia Rumpho. Maia started Pet Project Rescue after a trip to Mexico where she rescued a street dog. From there, she started PPR to help animals all over the world. PPR's mission is to end animal homelessness and suffering by focusing on reducing the homeless animal population at its source through their free spay-neuter clinics for animals, both in Minnesota and in Mexico. PPR believes that all animals deserve a loving and healthy life. Maia, I'd like to welcome you to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I love talking with folks who see a challenging situation and decide to create some solutions around it. Before we jump into everything that you have going on at Pet Project Rescue, first, can you share with our listeners how did you become so passionate about cats?
I think I was born that way. I grew up with cats my whole life. My parents love cats, so I think I was just always surrounded by them. I was definitely the kid that would find strays and bring them home. And my parents were very patient with me. So I was finding rescue at a very early age, getting kittens out of trees and bringing them home, finding them in parks, bringing them home. So I think it was just innately in me, and I think I was born to do this job.
Tell me about PPR. Like, when did you start? How did you start? I assume you're a 501c3 charity in Minnesota, but give us a little bit of an overview of the organization and your origins.
Yeah, we are a 501c3. We have been since 2008 when we got started. I had been doing fostering here in Minnesota, so I was familiar with like the rescue world, animal welfare world. And my husband and I, my boyfriend at the time, went to Mexico and got engaged and also found a street dog. So it was a big trip. December 2007, I connected with a rescue on the island, and actually the dog we found went to Canada to a rescue, but she had another little dog there that my in-laws fell in love with because they were looking for a dog, and they asked us to bring her back with us. And that kind of started the whole conversation about how do you get these dogs adopted? There's not enough resources or homes on this little island for all the dogs and things like that. And it was very dog focused to start, even though I'm definitely a big cat person. So I brought the little dog home. She actually lived a very good life. She just passed away in April of this year at like 18 and a half. So it was pretty amazing. But that just started it. I saw a problem. I wanted to come up with a solution. And so we started a PPR to help find these dogs homes. And I lived in Minneapolis, so it made sense just naturally as we grew the nonprofit that we would be doing programs to help local animals. And the biggest need here are street cats. So that's how the TNR program started actually in 2009. So yeah, started it in Mexico, brought it back to Minnesota, and we've just grown since then.
So what is life like for Community Cat in Minnesota? And specifically, what are the programs that you offer to support community cats?
Yeah, I think it really varies if you're looking at urban cats versus rural cats. Generally speaking, our urban cats do pretty well. There's a lot of feeders, a lot more vet resources, things like that closer to home. We've learned just in the last year is there's a huge need in rural Minnesota, and that vet resources are a big obstacle, and the populations tend to be much larger, not as healthy. Again, just a lot more barriers to vet care and resources in general. My background is as a social worker, so I'm always looking at what kind of barriers people are facing, and animals in this case as well. But we definitely think a lot about the people, even though, yes, we are working with community cats, but it's the people out there who are caring for them. So we want to provide the resources without people having to go broke doing it. We don't want people skipping their medication or their groceries or their rent because they care about these community cats. We want to make sure that they can have the resources they need to stop them from reproducing, to be healthier and happier, and also live their full life as people. So our program is the only free TNR program in Minnesota. And we essentially have people apply through our website. Then we set them up with vets that we work with, and we cover the cost of the surgeries. We always encourage people, if they can, to donate back a little bit because it all helps, but it's not a requirement. So, some people will give $10 or $20. It all helps. There's no amount too small, but our main mission is that we just make TNR accessible to everyone in all cities, towns, villages, whatever it may be around Minnesota.
So is it run like a voucher program, or do you make the appointments with the veterinary clinics and arrange the pricing? How do you administer this program?
Yeah, so we have all the prices negotiated with the various vets that we work with. We just work with a small handful of vets. So that's all established. We just send authorization emails saying, okay, we're paying for this many cats. And something I always tell people is that we may authorize 5 cats or 15 cats or whatever it may be, but if more cats show up, let us know, because we don't want to put all the work into a situation and then get a call a year later and be like, oh, there's actually 14 more cats now because 2 showed up and I forgot to tell you. So we always stress that too. There's not like a start and end date. We see this as a continuation to just support the people who are caring for our community cats all around Minnesota, because we do feel like they're ours. They're the communities, they're our responsibility as a community across the state. So yeah, we try and make it easy for people. We're always trying to, again, break down those barriers, make it as easy as possible. And so then people are able to schedule with our vets based on their own schedules, which I think just makes it easier because, people work, people are driving, sometimes long distances to get to these clinics because unfortunately, again, rural areas of Minnesota don't have vet options. And so sometimes people are putting in a lot of time and effort to get to these clinics. So we want to make it as easy as possible for them. So that's how it works. I'd say it's pretty simple and straightforward. And, we're able to help a lot of cats this way. And we're hoping to continue to help a lot more.
The cats that are trapped, is it primarily individuals who are trapping those cats, or are you working with organizations?
Primarily individuals. We do work with some organizations. Again, rural Minnesota, we've partnered with some rescues or different organizations that are helping like with big colonies. And a lot of times we'll kind of divide and conquer on those costs and things like that. And we're just there to maybe fill the gaps or support them to make sure that they can get the project done. So really, we're open to working with anyone. I do believe it takes a village, and teamwork is key, whether that's working with vets, rescues, animal welfare organizations, indie trappers, or just somebody with a cat in their backyard.
Do you feel like you're having to serve the needs of the rural areas more than the urban areas, or is it about the same?
As far as the need in regard to rural versus urban, they both have a lot of need for sure. I just think that what we're seeing in the rural areas are just larger populations of cats. So it's not uncommon for someone to reach out and say, there's 30 cats here at this farm or something like that, where the urban populations generally, not always, but generally tend to be smaller, like 10 or fewer cats. Although I will say this year, we are seeing larger colonies, and I don't really have a great reason for that. I think we've all had some impact from 2020 that we're still making up for population-wise. But yeah, I'd say just the biggest difference is that the rural populations just tend to be a lot larger colony-wise. But the need is across the board. I mean, it's urban, it's suburban, it's rural. There are cats living everywhere.
Do you have a sense of the amount of available, affordable spay neuter for owned cats in the community? Is that something that there's also a shortage of?
Yes, I think so. We have a wonderful organization called MinSnap in Minnesota, and they do great work bringing affordable vet care to the population. for owned cats, but they're one organization. They don't have enough appointments to help everyone. And they are based in the Twin Cities. They do go out to different communities, but like outside of the Twin Cities. But again, that's limited by time and resources, and there's need everywhere. So I do think that local vets, were, whatever, local to wherever, or like the rural areas, suburban areas, I wish a lot more vets would get on board with that, especially for community cats. What we come across is just most vets can't handle feral cats. They don't know how to, because they just don't have that daily experience. And for a lot of vets, surgery is not something they commonly do either. So there's a lot of obstacles around that, but I would love to see more vets getting involved and wanting to help with spay neuter, both for low income communities, for own pets, and for community cats. That would be ideal. That would be amazing.
It's the only way to be successful is to have enough appointments for owned cats that are affordable and accessible along with the TNR. It's very hard to try and make change without a collaboration there between those two resources, for sure.
And I think it's a lot to ask people, can you drive an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours each way to be the most effective? The resources need to be a reasonable distance from somebody, because we're often dealing with people who are low income, and gas is expensive, and getting time off work if you're an hourly wage worker is really hard. So we see a lot of those obstacles, and we try and find bridges to that. That's the social worker background in me, but things are limited.
Wouldn't it be fantastic if your whole TNR team was on the same page? Imagine your staff and volunteers mastering trapping best practices, prepping cats properly for clinic arrival, and making everyone's job easier. Would you like to give them a toolbox of tips and tricks to refer to whenever trapping gets tough? Our monthly virtual TNR workshops are perfect for group training, covering everything from TNR philosophy to planning, equipment use, public relations, because we are all going to run into those stubborn neighbors, and cat care tips, plus more. With Q&A sessions, handouts, customized content for your program, your team will be ready to successfully reduce the number of free-roaming cats in your community. Ready to turn your trappers into a team? Great! Email Stacy at communitycatspodcast.com or call 978-239-2090 for details.
Are you a proud cat parent looking for the perfect, affordable health care for your kitty? Well, look no further than the Community Cat Clinic, conveniently located in Woodstock, Georgia, just north of Atlanta and not too far from the Tennessee and South Carolina borders. The health and happiness of all cats are the top priorities at this feline-only hospital. From preventative care, spay, neuter, and vaccines, to specialized and innovative treatments like full-mouth dental, ultrasound, radio, iodine therapy, emergency blockage cases, they've got your cat's well-being covered. For the TNR community and local shelters, they offer easy-to-access, low-cost spay-neuter services and volume appointments. So if you want to do a large TNR project, this is the clinic you want to go to. It's worth the extra trip. Appointments are available most days. Check out the Community Cat Clinic online at communitycatclinic.com or visit them in person at the Walmart Shopping Center at the Shops of Trickham on Highway 92 at Trickham Road in Woodstock, Georgia. More per, less price. When we launched the Community Cats podcast, our goal was simple: share stories and strategies to help cat lovers turn their passion into action. But something amazing happened. Our community grew, and so did our mission. Over the years, we've added webinars, conferences, certification courses, downloadable tools, and a whole lot more to support people who care about cats. So it's time for our name to reflect everything we do. The podcast isn't going anywhere, but our overall platform is rebranding as Community Cat Central. It's the same team, the same heart, and the same commitment, just with a fresh new look and even better ways to help you take action for cats in your community. You'll start seeing updates soon, including a brand new website, smarter email tools, and resources that are easier to access and use. We're so grateful to have you on this journey with us, and we can't wait to show you what's next. Are you getting your message across to your entire community? Do they know what programs you offer and what they can do to help? Learn more about how to effectively market your organization or just sharpen your skills with a free self-paced marketing course, The Fundamentals of Marketing on Maddie's University. The course is designed to provide a basic understanding of marketing and provide you with templates and tools to elevate and improve your organization's brand, voice, and audience, and have fun while doing it. You'll receive a strategic marketing plan template to download free. Go to university.maddiesfund.org and search marketing to enroll now. Sounds like you are very busy in Minnesota. There's a lot of demand there and a lot to go on. Did you stay in touch with the organizations in Mexico, or was that just sort of the spark that got you started?
Nope, we still have a flourishing program there. We sponsor weekly spay neuter clinics. What we do in Mexico is my dream for Minnesota. We provide free spay neuter to both owned and street animals every single week. We target a specific low-income neighborhood. We help with transportation. We help with vet care. We help with spay neuter. Our main focus is spay neuter, but we are that bridge. We make sure that everything is accessible, that they can get to and from, all of that. And we're able to do about 25 animals a week at our partner vet, Cocos Animal Welfare in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And then this last summer in 2024, we started partnering with an organization called Rocco's Relief Foundation. They're south of Mexico City in a very rural area, and they provide free spay neuter every month. They do a once a month clinic for dogs and cats. So we sponsor that as well. Because we're looking at, again, at targeting areas that don't have the resources, but have people who want to get something going and are hands-on, willing to do that work on the ground. And we fundraise and pay for that. And it's so incredibly rewarding. We've made such strides there. You really can tell the difference in the population. There's still a long way to go, but the way people approach animals and feel about animals has changed over the many years we've worked there. The populations are decreasing slowly but surely. It's incredibly rewarding, and we work with some very amazing partners down there. And again, it's all about teamwork. We can do so much more because we have amazing teams that we're working with down there.
So at this point in time, comparing Minnesota and the work you've done in Mexico, I don't want to have you say pick a side, right? But do you feel that there's more positive momentum in Minnesota versus Mexico, or the other way around?
You know, I meet a lot of amazing people everywhere I work. It doesn't matter anywhere in the world. But I will say one of the coolest things about Mexico is the teamwork. The government's involved and supportive. The local animal control is supportive. Amazing people on the ground, organizations working with other organizations. It's really what I wish we could bring back to Minnesota, and something I've been working on for many years to do. And it's just incredible what has been able to be accomplished there. And I just love what we do there. And I think there's just potential for so much down there.
Yeah. And I've heard also in Mexico, there's quite a bit of education with regards to high quality, high volume spay neuter techniques, so that all veterinarians are pretty familiar and comfortable with that procedure, so that then there's even more efficiencies in all the practices.
Yeah, that's my experience. The vets there are amazing at surgery. Like, it is wild to see how quickly but high quality they can do surgeries. Every November, we partner with Cocos Animal Welfare and we hold a 3-day community clinic. And we do about 1,100 to 1,200 dogs and cats in 3 days. And it's amazing. We have vets coming from all over Mexico. All the vets are Mexican. And it just, the level of quality is profound for, 1,200 animals in 3 days. And they're just so good at their craft. It's really cool to watch. I do think it's a model that a lot of people could look at and replicate and really make a huge impact. If we could do that kind of thing here in Minnesota, I feel like we could solve the problem, because we don't have the population that Mexico has of free roaming animals. Not to say that we don't have a lot of cats or a problem, because I think there is, but it's not to the extent to Mexico. So I think it is really doable here in Minnesota to actually fix. But we need a lot of people working together to get there.
Since 2000, the organization that I ran, Merrimack River Feline Rescue Society, has done monthly MASH clinics, where when we first started out, we were doing 100 to 120 cats on one day. And then now it's more like 50 on one Sunday a month. But something like that, where you're dealing with volunteer veterinarians and volunteer staff and paying for the supplies, I think we need more of that around the country. And I mean, you're familiar with it. You see these large spay neuter events, and we have a lot of adoption events around the country. There are some mega spay neuter events, but we don't have them like in every state. And I think we do have campaigns around the country for adoptions. August is Clear the Shelters. Maybe we should have a national spay neuter campaign where each state has more of these spay neuter events rather than the adoption events, beat the heat or whatever you want to call it. But I think these pulse type activities do have value. I mean, obviously they have value in the adoption space because we do these pop-up adoption events. So we should do pop-up spay neuter events. I don't understand why we don't have more of those in the U.S. I don't know if you've thought about doing what you see in Mexico, bringing it to the States.
Yeah, we started actually in January with a local vet in North Minneapolis. We do a once a month Friday clinic, and we do about 20 cats, specifically generally from North Minneapolis. Sometimes we fill in from other areas, but this vet is located in North Minneapolis, and that is an area of our city with the highest number of free-roaming animals and the lowest income bracket in the Twin Cities. So that's an area we target. And this vet that we work with at Camden is really passionate about that as well. So we really aligned on that. And it's been really cool. We've been able to get entire colonies fixed in a single day and really got through a lot of cats in North Minneapolis. And we'll continue to do that once a month. And we have people who are passionate about that and help us by sponsoring cats and things like that. And it's been really, really cool. I work with them every Friday, and it's all volunteer. The vets volunteer their time, the techs volunteer their time. We have PPR volunteers volunteering their time. And yeah, it's really awesome. And everyone it really enjoys themselves, and it's super effective. And I do think that's a great way to get ahead and knock out some populations as far as TNR goes. And I'd love to see more people do it. I say to everyone, I'm available if you want to just talk to me, figure out how these things run, because there's some trial and error and there's a learning curve, but it's so doable. I think if I can do it, anyone can do it.
What would you say is the greatest challenge facing you and your organization today?
I think for us currently, it's veterinary access. It's enough appointments for the cats in need. It's systems that aren't overly complicated so that people can just get cats in and out and get them fixed. Trying to trap cats for specific dates can get really complicated because cats don't always cooperate. They don't always go in the trap for, your June 25th appointment date or, whatever it may be. So I think just some of the complication just comes around having accessible programs and resources in every corner of the state and getting people to and from appointments. That all that kind of coordinating is the biggest problem, because the cats are out there. It's not like we got a lack of cats. We definitely don't. But it's just, making it feasible for people to both successfully trap and actually get them to the appointments. And then, of course, funding. I mean, this all takes a lot of money. It costs us between 4 and 6 times what it costs in Mexico for every cat, which is wild. But it is a lot more expensive here in Minnesota for a number of reasons. And so funding is always that's the reality of being a nonprofit. Funding is always something you're up against.
Maia, if folks are interested in finding out more about your organization and the work that you do, how can they do that?
They can check us out on our website at petprojectrescue.com, or we are on Instagram at PPR_MPLS, or on Facebook at Pet Project Rescue. So we're really active online. You'll be able to follow along, see everything we're doing. Just before this, I scooped up a litter of 5 little kittens, the last litter in this huge colony we've been working on forever and ever. And the cats are all fixed. We're always doing something. There's always something interesting on our social to catch up on. They can find us in any of those places.
Anything else you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Just, if you see cats outside, reach out, Google TNR and the name of your city. There's somebody doing this everywhere. Don't wait until it's winter. That's one thing I will tell people. Summer is a great time to get cats fixed. And it takes a village. If we all work together, if we're all here supporting each other, if we're all trying to fill gaps where we can, whether someone's like, yep, I can take them in and foster them, and someone else said, yep, I can pay for their surgery. If we work together, we can just accomplish so much more. So I always say it takes a village.
I agree with you 100%, Maia. I want to thank you so much for joining us today and for being a guest on the show. And I hope we'll have you on again in the future.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was a blast.
That's it for this week. Please head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. We love to hear what you think, and a 5-star review really helps others find the show. You can also join the conversation with listeners, cat caretakers, and me on Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget to hit follow or subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a single show. Thanks for listening, and thank you for everything that you do to help create a safe and healthy world for cats.